Heartbreak on the first map for Misfits. EnVy got off to a great start. It looked all but over, but then the comeback almost happened. But as said, it all fell apart in the last couple of rounds. EnVy were able to secure the victory in literally the last couple of seconds. I don't know what to say about this. It's so tough to watch. Just seeing the players, seeing Shazam at the end of that, he was, you could see how much that, it was second to last round when they had the AWP still up. He just lost it.
Yeah, I mean, the repeak again, like the fact that Six standing next to him has still utility to play with, they could have set up a better repeak, right? He doesn't have to shy away from the fight. He wanted to buy time, I get that. But, I mean, he knew it right away. You saw his reaction the moment after, and then not only his reaction at that moment at the end of the round, but then in just the game in general, right? Misfits kind of walk away a little deflated, but how do you not, after getting so close to the finish line, just coming up short? That's
the thing. You almost kind of wish they lost just like that clean loss. Like, all right, yeah, it wasn't our map. It was a good start from EnVy. Let's just focus on map 2. When you get these comebacks, you start believing it. You put everything into it, right? You grind yourself down almost. It's pretty tough for them to bounce back. So hopefully they can just calm things down and find a way back through this. And for EnVy, that certainly wasn't a walk in the park for them. They can't be too pleased themselves either. They've got a very tough task on their hands now. They need to be hyper aware of they're going into a matchup where if Misfits do recover mentally and they just get right back on the saddle, this could be a very tough game.
I think that there was some promising stuff from Misfits on Overpass as well yesterday versus Heroic. I mean, despite a convincing loss, 16-8, I think that both Maudie and Snappy were just having the kind of performance that we saw from Scream at the beginning of this game. So maybe, again, they can translate that to some further success on the second map and make a bit of a series, but time will tell.
Yeah. Let's see the fortitude of the Misfits boys. That's what this game is about to me now. They should be able to put up a good performance here. The knife round's about to start up, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, on paper, this could be a very close game. You saw what happened at the end of the last one, so we know that they are very capable, but this becomes a little bit more than that. They're going to be put to task. We've seen that a good couple of players on that EnVy side are starting to wake up a bit here. Scream, certainly one of them in the first half, but a couple of players starting to join him towards the end of the matchup. However, knife round underway. We'll see who starts on what side.
I think that Devaduvic also came back into form slightly towards the end of that match as well, because at the beginning, when we really saw EnVyUs asserting themselves, it was the two French players of Misfits that were trailing behind as far as kill count is concerned. And then he ends up, you know, being quite impactful towards the end of that. So that was always nice to see. And it's not just him in an individual level, it was just the entirety of Misfits coming back to life.
Now, EnVy just won the knife, so they get to choose which side they want to start on. And I'm curious how they take this one, because they know that they've got Misfits in a bit of a bind in a way. Certainly in their head slightly, but EnVy aren't going to be feeling great themselves, but they had, you know, if they can unleash a little bit of what they had in the first half of Cobble, they are in a very good stead. But Misfits come back in, they just, you know, shake off that first map as best they can. Try and get Shazam back feeling confident. So I'm wondering how much of an individual impact that's going to make on him. If it, you know, maybe just slows his game down a little, if he doesn't want to take those aggressive fights. I'm curious. I'm not saying it will. You know, certain players, you know, that won't bother them. You know, water off a duck's back. They won't mind it. Maybe it might get in his head. We're going to find out if he has that mental fortitude to be able to come into that next map, this best of 3, and just turn it back on. You know, not let it drop. You get to train. You stand a good shot as well. We know that Misfits are very good on trains while they go-tos. Find out if they make it that far.
I'm going to be curious to see as well if EnVyUs decide to keep up some aggression and really kind of, you know, prevent Shazam on the CT side from opping. Because that's what we saw Heroic do yesterday. They very much nullified his effectiveness and his impact, just based, again, on not just utility play, but just by playing a quicker pace. He was quite quick to fall back from those forward spots, and we'll see if that happens yet again, but we're going to find out as map number 2 is now going live. Misfits and Team EnVyUs. Of course, EnVyUs securing map number 1, looking for the clean 2-0 sweep and dodging elimination.
EnVy chose to start on the T side as well. They want to bring the game to Misfits here. I don't blame them. I like their T sides generally. It was a little bit lackluster, of course, on Cobble. That's where the comeback happened, but there was some actually very good play from Misfits. It's not all just discredit, but everything's been heard. Amanek knows what's coming his way. Nice positioning, but Sean Gaz is the one to step up to the challenge more than anyone, and Shazam is right there as well. It's all been dealt with. EnVy are down to 2. You don't lose these. Shazam doesn't either. Make sure of that. Is happy now, trying to get away, trying to find a route of attack. Approach. 2 players now a little low. Shazam and Sean just trying to find a way in here. Happy, but not going to get it done. Good position from Misfits, and 1 on the board.
Nice pistoling position there. Everybody just ready to trade frag out, and when you hit those headshots quickly, the entirety of EnVyUs crumble. Just great distraction. I mean, all three players fixated on the single direction allows for him to have a field day. Shooting gallery versus EnVyUs, who now back into this one with some pistols of their own. That single smoke on Sixer could be a bit of a difference maker as they start to stampede towards the bottom of connector. Amanek wants a bit of information, and he gets exactly that. But then he falls back because he knows what could be inbound. Shazam should know as well. He gets caught up slightly on the bathrooms, but Flashbang should allow for this to, almost not get caught. He's able to find one frag, next flash blinds everybody around. Sean Garris is looking to support with utility as the CTs have the 5v4.
I'm worried why they're all at this truck. Watching Misfits is terrifying sometimes. Shazam taking that long to fall back. And I don't know. EnVy are right on the door. Now, I don't know how much further they're going to get here because this is where rifles should just kick into gear. You know, this is where the UMP should just tear people up. But, you know, Tech9's P250s, we've seen weirder things happen, but they've hit the brakes here. They just want to ensure that, basically, that if anyone tries to play back in from the Misfit side, they'll be there and waiting. There's no flank either coming in, which is the kind of more curious part, too. No one's pushing around the back lines. Misfits just, you know, waiting it out. They're going to put faith in this, but Scream going to find Shazam. That's a little bit worrying, because Amanek's now low. It's going to force everyone into the action, and what's going on? It's crumbled! EnVy hit the brakes, they wait, they're patient, and then they make the strike. Now down to a 2v2.
Devaduvic, he finds the first sick, gonna trade it back by one, and so it's RPK on a quarter health, backed behind the dice box, wants to time the peak, and he needs himself that headshot. There is a kit to play off of, so time, not that much of a worry, but RPK's position could be. Devaduvic just gonna walk this one out. RPK hits the dink, but it's just not enough. 7 health the difference as the defuse comes through, but Misfits shaken by that round.
You couldn't ask any more from RPK. He put up brilliant numbers in that, but it's scary watching Misfits play. It's always so hectic. Good play back in from Devaduvic here. Able to do a lot of work in the end. Kind of tipping the scale back to a manageable situation. Eventually closing out towards RPK, even with that dink. But yeah, EnVy, I guess kind of shaking up Misfits a little bit. So Misfits need to be aware, they need to be careful. They don't want to get, you know, caught out by these sort of situations where you feel kind of bad about it, but a lot's been seen here. Six already spotted, make his way up. You can see the smoke's been put down, but a quick enough pace from EnVy. They just want to get this one going, try and get that bomb plant if they can, which is perfect. If not, no problem. We can fall back off this, maybe get a gun. Look to the next possibility. RPK has a little bit of firepower with him. He's got a bit of armor as well, so some sustain here.
Meanwhile, Happy pushes up towards bathrooms. No one's going to spot this, but RPK gets seen. And softened up ever slightly. Really wants this fight, but it's Sick and Amanek to come out on top with 2 simultaneous frags, leave EnVyUs on only XMS and Scream. I mean, sure enough, these Deagles could still maybe pry a man off of a bomb site. They do still have 50 seconds to play with, so they're hoping that someone on Misfits kind of oversteps their boundary, and that could be Amanek as he comes into the top of connectors. Scream has a nice angle on this, and he executes him with ease. Sean Garris not looking to pick up the pace just yet. XMS on the other side. Scream spots bodies, and XMS with 2 frags. We are talking a 2v2 with the bomb close to sight. Devaduvic needs to double back, and he's completely blind. The T's, they want to duel, and now it is just down to Shazam. He's in the heavens above, and EnVyUs are towards the site, one of which is tagged, and Shazam bails them out of trouble once more. But that was way too close.
These rounds are disgraceful. They're so close, and it's coming down to one player to save the day. Who was it before? Devaduvic, I think, before in the kind of pistol force up as well. And then this, the double stack, that's a great shot that he hits, to be fair. And Scream with a nice position, but they're in, what, a 5v2, and they almost lose it. That, to me, just, or a 4v2, I can't even remember what it was, but it was far too many to lose out to almost pistols. We're into the gun round now. Things are getting a little bit dicey. Happy just about puts out that molly, not quite quick enough, maybe feeling a little bit of that CSGO mechanics, but Amanek putting himself right into the fire as well. Forcing his way up towards 6 there. He's going to get a second as well. Good aggression on the CT side. Put themselves back into this game.
And again, we almost did just watch them lose a 5 versus 2 against Deagles, so let's not write EnVyUs out just yet. They still have all the guns and utility they could ask for. However, Misfits passively wait. I believe Shazam has the angle held over towards the spawn, and that's where XMS is now going to arrive from. So Molotov convinces him back for the first part, then the smoke grenade to follow suit. It's a matter of time before Shazam should be able to pluck this man out, but no, XMS, he's been able to just creep his way across, crouches and dodges the crosshair. Luckily, Aminek's not letting his guard down, so Shazam gets pried away as RPK finds one, but quick trade off of the op as XMS swings out, down to the 2v3. So EnVyUs still working with this one. 30 seconds, though. That's not a lot of time to get that bomb all the way towards site.
Unless they do a boost over the top here, you shouldn't be able to win against these players in party. So Six, what is going on? Why is Six turning around? Happy is on 30 HP, and there it is. Dealt with in the end by Aminek, and the two players there do control the situation. It's very hard to dig players out of that sort of position. Unless you do the boost over by the bench, you can get two players on top of the bench, have a look over the top. It works, it can be done. So now, as messy as these rounds may be, as close as they're getting, it's 4 on the board for Misfits, and that's good overall. Even if you just remind yourself that, it's like, all right, we're on 4, we're doing fine, we just need to clean up a little bit, get this going. They want a nice round here, but you can see the force up for Envy. They know these rounds have been close. They know that they've got these guys, you know, not necessarily on the ropes, but they got them a little wounded. So they're going to go on the buy up here. Get those Tech 9s out, get some armor. That's going to put all those SMGs feeling a little worse off, but you can still find some work for them, I can imagine.
Shazam on top of the totem pole. Looking to spot some bodies as they're coming out connector. Redeployed smoke. This plays into the hands of EnVyUs. It's exactly what they wanted, but losing XMS maybe not. Shazam doubling down as he blasts Sixer to smithereens. RPK pops his skull. Takes it to the 3v4, but he flicks back and screen with the Tech 9 removes Aminek. So again, some wiggle room made by EnVyUs just off of pistols. They're going to slow things down as Happy starts to lurk, but Six and Sean, they pull the trigger on those last 2 frags, and Misfits find 5-0.
So they do retain one of the rifles, and the rest are going to have to be rebought, but the money's getting pretty decent now for Misfits. It's still not great. There's still a chance this could get, you know, pretty badly punished if they're not aware, right? So you're still going to see SMGs for Sean Gers, Devaduvek on the UMP. I'm wondering what Sean's going to do with this. Like, what is your plan, Sean? Where are you off to? Could get aggressive in underpass, I guess. Could just play a supporting role. But he's got to find a bit of room to make that SMG sing, because it's not easy in this map. There's not too many useful angles early on that he can play to unless he just gets really up close. Long's definitely not one of them. So he's being dragged along. Shazam holds over by B. Not much map presence shown here by Envy. They do have RPK in towards the underpass area. He's got support with him as well, that being Happy. Could catch out Shazam if they open up that door pretty fast. No one here. You can see Shazam now's, you know, mind starts to turn. Wonders, okay, if they're in underpass, how screwed am I? Well, we're going to find out soon. 2 players stacked up on long as well for Misfits, and no one else holding this.
Yeah, nobody's spotting over towards bathrooms. So now, with Shazam getting wind of that presence towards underpass and nobody for the CTs there, obviously Sean can't leave. He's got that MP9, so it's going to have to be up close. He pays this off. Aminek just waits for the flash. Sean gets removed, but it's traded back immediately. Shazam doubling with the next, and Aminek with another headshot as the op reigns supreme, leaves it down to just Happy, and he too toppled. Shazam rotates into sight in the nick of time, and that pays off as he holds the offense back and keeps EnVyUs empty-handed.
They needed this round too, Misfits. They really did. They need to stabilize completely here. But Shazam is playing well. And that was what I was a little worried about, that he might take that a little bit too much to heart, that first map. And, you know, how it worked out, how frustrated it was. It seems to just kind of lit a fire under him, which is great. That's the other thing that can happen, right? You have a bad moment, you get frustrated with yourself, you come back stronger. And I'm more than happy to see that. It looks like we've seen the Shazam that we were kind of talking about on the first day that never really showed. So, good stuff thus far. Deep play from Envy, though. Kind of defaulting throughout the map here. Happy this time over by B. Last time they didn't really have him on this sort of spot, so a little bit of a different approach.
Yeah, we haven't really been seeing that committed lurk play from Happy just yet, so a bit of a shift from EnVyUs as yet again they clear out connector, they take that bomb towards long. Just going through the steps once more, just as seen on Overpass, on Cobblestone rather. Allowing Happy some room to work. I mean, we saw Maudie with some beautiful aggressive lurks yesterday on Overpass versus Misfits. Happy looking to fill those shoes.
be DreamHack over by Monster. Re-smoke goes in. One smoke towards upper. We still have one other to put into play here. But here comes the damage. Six actually going to go out aggressively for this. He's going to isolate himself. He's putting so much faith in DreamHack to keep him safe, in the right place to put it as well. He does brilliantly there. Does eventually fall to Sixer, but that's fine. Six now safe, and he can come back into it. Really nice crossfire piece between those two. Good faith in each other to play it off like that. And Misfits now take strides in the right direction. Envy have been completely muted.
7-0 the start now. More convincing start than what we saw from EnVyUs on their CT side. Just previously on Cobble. Sixer with the tech. We got the trio of Deegs and a single P250. So near bare bones minimum for EnVyUs in this one. Should never find impact, but they've done more with less already here today. Amanek gonna find an opening frag and then just immediately fall back as DreamHack bombs Happy out of the tunnel. And gets actually aggressive on Sick. He's clearing out Monster and walking past the corpse. Keeping EnVyUs at bay. And honestly, they're still over towards Fountain, so they've got nothing really to play off of. Not just because they're on pistols, but as far as map control concerned.
Misfits putting more players back towards B now. A little boost comes in over the smoke. Have a little look. Shazam isn't really showing. He's playing up by long. You've still got one on site too. Pretty sure that's Amanek with him. It is. And one by the bin. So they're far from outnumbered. Pretty much an even stead. But Scream, where is he finding these shots? Again, XMS now going to be the first man in. Spots out two, gets all the info, but Amanek is there. That's the defensive line that will not be moved. He does get 3 for Misfits. And again, furthering their lead here. Yet to really be shaken by Envy.
Solid bomb site holds here from Misfits thus far. Clearly, as we hit that 8-0 scoreline. So how far will we go? Double digits, only 2 rounds away. Nice re-peeking here from Amanek. Doesn't go for the full swing and expose himself to both players, allowing for maybe that Deagle to find him. Sections them out one by one. Comes out with both. Again, Amanek looking to get aggressive, as seen in the previous round, but he never displays himself. Just flashbangs and falls on back. Shazam was boosted, but he takes a bit of a tumble. The worst possible moment, because now the terrorists are directly underneath him.
God, that's awkward. All right. Boosts back, and Shazam is now annoyed because that boost was really, really uncomfortable. Sick's gonna make up for it. Good play back in. He's like a bit of a pit bull, isn't he, Sick? He just goes right back at it. Happy. Gonna claim him eventually, though. Smokes come in, and Envy fall off this. They still have man advantages. They don't need to rush into anything. They don't want to walk into a stack. But yeah, that was a bit uncomfortable between, maybe a bit of miscommunication between Shazam. I think that was DreamHack then, just because he fell off the boost, came back, he didn't go to the right spot. Very, very awkward, frustrating moment, it looks like. But Misfits pulling players over towards A now. They're getting a good read of this, and Amanek is going to be hearing it as well. So if he can get 1, maybe 2 here, brilliant. You can see calls being made. No one's checking on it. He's going to... That's the bomb! Oh, brilliant stuff from Amanek. Perfect positioning. Support's coming around as well. He needs to buy a bit of time, be a further nuisance, but look how far away Sean Gers is.
30 seconds for the plant as well here, so EnVyUs not pressured. Plant it where they so choose. Happy clears out Bank. And that's going to leave XMS towards the back of site. Now, of course, they knew that Amanek was over towards bathrooms. He could have re-geared up towards long, but do they expect Sean to be with him? That'll be the bigger question. XMS just crouching, holding the angle, spots some heads, deals some damage, but doesn't take kills until now when he finds both. EnVyUs with an opening round on the board.
Finally. But you feel that if, Shazam got that boost off, they'd have had that kill. Like, he was in the right place just like a second too late. Ah, that's so annoying for him. You could see it. Like, he's trying his best here. He's giving it, like, everything he's got. And I wonder if he can get it back. Yeah, here it is. You can see if it maybe just been there a second earlier, he could have done something. But Happy making a lot of difference that round. Starting to do a lot of the work himself. And what is this deep molly? What? What just happened?
Oh, I wish we'd caught that.
Did someone just throw that there by accident? It must have been. Because I don't think CTs can get any molly that far, unless I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that was just someone messing up their molly.
I feel like it would have broken in the air.
Yeah.
Or it's just a game-changing Molotov, and it's been lost in the sands of time.
Switching up the game. Mm-hmm.
Yet again, EnVyUs just creeping out towards the bottom of Connector. Taking Underpass. not going towards short. I think that they while they do this quite loudly, and that could reveal them, they do a good job of just not really opening themselves up for any kind of a short loss. And again, Misfits haven't been all too aggressive with taking it. We have seen them just peek and ponder and take a look towards the door, but never actually get aggressive. So Happy, seeing this opening, creates his own space. Takes his own real estate and gets tagged up slightly for it. Drops to 78, spams a bit and falls further back, but here comes Sick again. Aggressive out from Monster. He's gonna catch Happy turned, and that's a 5v4, but he can't retreat. Sixer catches him on his attempt, and now EnVyUs are just gonna gear up for the B-site strike. Devidovic fully blind and pry it off of that barrel side. Scream gets more aggressive, and he nets himself the next frag. So the 4 versus 2 now as Misfits have fumbled, and EnVyUs plant the bomb.
Gotta be save time now for Misfits. But yeah, it was a little overstep by Sick. I like it, but you can't do it without anyone being there, you know, for the response. Even if I win this 1v1, what if I lose out eventually, lose the trade? Then the side's kind of on its own. There was like one other guy there who wasn't even ready for that sort of thing. So it was a nice response from Envy to read it well. They got right into it, but I don't know what happened with Sick as well. He just kind of stood there with his knife. I don't know if he was trying to like jiggle peek a corner or something, just, you know, slightly quicker, but it didn't go well for him. Let's put it that way. But good response from Envy to see the mistakes, to see what was happening, and play off the back of it well. And you could see Scream getting unleashed then. Those 2 kills he provided were actually pretty slick.
Something he does just so well. Walking into bomb sites, pushing himself forward, and really just preventing any kind of a retake setup, even attempt. It was a flood Molotov. All right.
It's fine. To be fair, like, I don't know if you played like the alpha of CSGO, but like anyone who did play the alpha remembers well, you used to be able to throw mollies incredibly fast. So for example on Nuke, like if you started on CT, we basically found like lineups to throw mollies over the top of Nuke to like the exit from like T-spawn on Nuke to lobby. So you just block all the Ts there for disgusting amounts of time, and then we just rush lobby. So there were, you know, interesting things in the alpha of CSGO. I don't know if that was in the beta, I can't remember. Pretty sure Halvor will remember this stuff as well, because he's old, like me. Ain't that right, Halvor? But yeah, Misfits with the timeout, but yeah, no changing of the game, no completely, you know, incredible Molotovs coming out, but, you know, just a little bit of a fumble. But yeah, this has been a great performance so far from Misfits. I've got to give them credit where it's due. They've turned the game around. I was a little worried that after that first quite heavy-hitting loss, they've really come back into this. And Envy, I don't know what happens to these guys. It feels like they lose that kind of drive, doesn't it? And I don't know how that can happen from one map to another.
It's a shame to watch sometimes, but at least now they've gotten those back-to-back rounds. I mean, the story of Cobblestone was, of course, every time a T round gets on the board, it's just almost instantly reset. So for them to now dodge that, they've given themselves certainly an opportunity to work with. You know, another 30 seconds still for them to talk things over, and maybe they get that 3rd round as well and start to really make a bit of this half, because it was a great start from Misfits. I'd say a very confident start from Misfits. We saw quite a bit of aggression, thinking, of course, when they dropped bomb over towards Playground even, per se. Lots of pushes towards Party and Fountain, and just even, let's say, that boost from Shazam. But again, that was a moment where if they had wanted to go for the reset on that boost, could have used a flashbang.
Yep.
Similarly to the peak on Cobblestone platform. You know, it's just those fine little details that can make a world of difference. When we see the replay and we catch him being caught out, it was just timing on 2 players who were not ready for that kind of a peak.
Yep.
And so the flash could have really done it. But either way, we are back in the action. Misfits still up by 6, and an op per side.
Haven't seen much from Sixer with it yet. We have seen Shazam doing very well. He's having himself a game. Him and Amanek actually off to a brilliant start this one. Happy again. Doing as usual. Just wanting the boost up here. You can see RPK turning back around for this. Oof. Makes a bit of noise. I'm wondering if anyone's going to be watching it now. No one is just yet. I'm going to look towards upper. There's 2 players going towards barrels. He could actually find one of these guys. While he goes in. Just crouched over. He sees one. Spots him out. That's for shot on radar now. Oh, Sick with a shot. That's a nice turn. And now Envy down to 4.
Sean Gears wants to get more information. He sees RPK for sure. Tries to get a bit of a wall spam, but just doesn't line it up as EnVyUs line their forces up on A. Bomb in the back. Double man setup as Shazam, because of the smoke, gets his attention pulled away. We saw Amanek and Sean Gares lock down long. Can Shazam support from afar? Amanek reveals himself from the corner, sprays for 2, fully flashed, not gonna matter. Bomb's been dropped, and a 5-2 advantage. Amanek looking to further this fight, will overwhelm Sixer. That leaves RPK all alone. And while he spots bodies towards Dumpster, it's Shazam up close who sends him into the next one. Misfits back to the board.
Lovely lockdown there from Misfits. Holding on long. Amanek is just, you know, when like the CS gods are on your side, it feels like they are for him. The first kill's good because he was able to see them before the flash comes in. The second, he was just like, well, I'm already here. I'm just going to hope for the best that it works. Plays him well towards 6-2 at the end. So all in all, he's having a game. He's feeling it out. It's going nicely in his favor. No AWP again, back down for Envy. They're kind of lacking the funding to be able to really make that stick, but they haven't had much play with it. It hasn't had a big headlining role just yet. A little bit of early utility use to try and force off the CTs from any deeper peaks that they might be taking on boosts.
Gonna go back for that boost over. No, they're just gonna leave Happy in the corner, so he doesn't have fond memories of peeking over that wall. Not willing to go for it yet again as EnVyUs push out towards long, take their fountain, and just go through the steps. Very passive round from Misfits this time around. They're themselves not seeking to be reset. So, allowing EnVyUs to take those risks and just hoping that Shazam on site can topple some pegs before they push forward.
Certainly shown a hell of a lot of ability to do so up to this point. He might have a nice chance at it again. Envy going to start the take. Smoke comes in, so he knows he's got a couple of seconds he has to worry about long being close. Now he turns. Now he knows the flash comes in. That catches at least 2, so that's going to hinder the vast majority from hitting, but you can see one going to try and make their way through early. Amanek now needs to be aware. He's got to try and help Shazam out, and there we go. Overwhelmed in the end. Amanek couldn't bail him out of the situation. The Molly comes in, and through the fire and the flames, RPK gets the job done. Molly goes in towards headshot, and the bomb is planted. It's a retake with 3.
Contemplating the retake are 3. Sean Gare still towards heaven. Of course, they have that flank in position, so Sick could have been the linchpin, but again, everybody passive and waiting. And they call it. Happy's going to start to chase, hunts out the frags, and it costs him. Devaduvic with the fadeaway and the 3v3 on the table. But excellently done there by EnVyUs. I mean, Shazam, he knew the timing, right? Off of the flashbangs, off of the peaks. If Amanek's able to just kind of bail him out a little longer, then maybe they hold, but that's not the case. Molotov, of course, counters the positioning from Amanek. That forces him further back. Then he's out in the open. Pinch from 2 directions, and just very thorough stuff from EnVyUs. They took all the map control that Misfits were allowing them to have, and they ran with it.
9-3. I'm not sure how much. I don't know what to expect of EnVyUs on this map. They've gone, they're having very polarizing halves. They chose to start on this side. They haven't really shown much as to why. We haven't seen anything very, very impressive yet. They've had a couple of nice rounds individually, but nothing madly turning attention. But it looks like maybe a faster look towards B early on, and RPK succeeds where most didn't expect. They're already backing away, but now they might just go off this. Spots out another good spray, great damage. Sick is 1 HP. But now they have to hit the brakes here, Envy, but they have no map control elsewhere. You can see instantly Happy goes to try and get some, make sure that no one's working quickly on the back. But they have to disengage and do it smartly.
Scream has $1,400. Why does he just still have a Glock?
What? To be fair, Envy used to do weird stuff like this. Any team with Happy have done it before, where they'll just like essentially set someone up to die anyway, and then he'll just pick it up and run with it. But it is weird that he didn't even upgrade his pistol. I'm honestly not that surprised. Used to be like with a Tech 9. They used to get just armor Tech 9 and so on. Happy gonna smoke out, show a bit of A presence, show a bit of leg. And get it going as well, because there's only one man really doing much on this site. It is a boost though, so there's a player under Sick who will be able to play in. But the flashes are good so far. That's got 2 players towards the site. Bomb's not there just yet. Got to be careful of the line of sight. Smokes are still up as well. That's good for them. And the spray comes in. No connection. They know it's now a boost. They know there's 2 players. Now 3 from Misfits ready to play back into this.
XMS up close. He's going to be looking for that first frag as the fire forces Sick into the open. XMS takes 1. Sick still standing despite 1 health And Shazam gonna get boosted over the wood here, trying to clear corners as he finds Sixer and takes it to the 3v2. Over towards short, that's gonna be Shazam to bail another one out. Amanek and Shaz versus Scream up close. He only has a Glock, and that's gonna cost him. Down he goes. Never did he get a chance to retrieve a gun, although he did have a chance to buy one.
Yeah, a little odd. I'm not 100% sold on it, but maybe ask him afterwards. It's, as said, not the first time we've seen the French sides go with just armor and just a pistol. We saw actually Fnatic doing it as well on Inferno. They do it on their T sides a lot. If they're doing something aggressive, I don't know. I'm not a huge advocate for it. It didn't work out that time, but is what it is. Upgraded pistols coming in now for Envy. Bit of armor too. Sixer gonna abscond away from the armor just purely because he's eyeing up the AWP, eventually hoping to have it in maybe the last couple of throws of this round. Scream this time not forgetting the gun, he's forgetting the bomb. He's gonna go back and get that. And Shazam gonna be forced away eventually. Not feeling they want to stay around too long. Don't want to give up the AWP to a Deagle. And away we go.
That is Amanek, of course, over towards bathrooms. Thanks to the smoke, he has no vision whatsoever as EnVyUs get a little closer. Close enough to pummel him with pistols, but near lineup are the T's. Shazam gonna find one though. And now the rotation inbound. He needs to buy time, but Scream catches Sean Gare, so that's another frag to the way of the T's. Shazam with a sidearm, gonna get stabbed. Scream finds the shank and the TUV2. Sixer, all that's left now is the man on site gets primed from the flank itself. Sixer, can you do this? Absolutely not. Devaduvic catches him out with the wide peak. Misfits just encapsulating the bomb site.
And Envy, I'm not thoroughly impressed. I don't know what to I don't know what to make of this game. They're able to grind out some of the tougher rounds, and then, but yeah, that kill then for Shazam was the one that really mattered. If he lost that, he'd have no sanctuary to run to. Scream at least does find time to get the knife, but it just gives him a little more money more than anything. But money isn't really what Envy need at this point. It helps, certainly helps, but it's the last round of the first half, and you have 3 rounds. That is not enough. That's one thing you're severely lacking, and Sean already off to a brilliant beginning. Spots out the second, but with Sixer also winning out, it's back down to a 3v3.
Yet again, Shazam gonna find himself alone. Of course, not towards Long, but rather bathrooms itself. And it's over towards Long that EnVyUs geared 2 players, bomb included. Happy wants to lurk, sick. Acting as a door blocker, just waits. Shazam continues to play for information, and he's gonna get an easy kill onto Scream, who's just crossing in the open. Happy's gonna come up and try to punish this. Shazam as well, caught out. So here we go, back to the 2v2.
And Sick could be make or break in this. Molly goes in. It's not quite close enough to force him away, but it shows that Happy is... He had an inkling that someone was close by. Is Sick gonna fall off this? And this kind of gives away a different picture, right? This kind of tells Sick, oh, they're definitely not coming this way because Happy's not pushed out yet. So it's kind of keeping someone like Devaduvic dedicated towards the other side of things. Now he knows what's up, but he hasn't been able to see the cross coming through towards Monster. So he's going to have to play back in this from short. He's going to maybe give up the plant. There's not much else he can really do about it. And Six is going to get the bomb down now. Now, where's that after plant position going to be? Because he's got a nice plant, bit of time on his hands. He knows that one Sick likely is going to come from short. So Molly goes in. Now he waits. He's taking a real gamble that Devaduvic is not coming from this angle, as this is not a brilliant spot for it, but he lands a great one. Now the 1v1, Sick up against Sixer. Sixer finds a new angle, but he wants to fight. He takes it as well, not playing to the bomb at all. He wants to try and get that one done himself, and it will be Sick to succeed.
Crucial headshot onto the heaven there. Devaduvic could have just walked out, cleared him from the water, and allowed the retake to come on in, but nonetheless, the clutch is taken by Misfits. And there we go. Solid half. Almost as solid as what we saw in Cobble.
Yeah. I'm really unsure what's going on with Envy. They're a great team, and we've seen that they can be a great team, but some of the choices they're making, some of the approaches to these rounds, they won 3 this half, and there's no discredit. Yeah. No discredit to the Misfits guys. They've been playing a great game. They've been showing up. They've had the players turn up who need to be there, Shazam being one of them. Something was mentioned at the very start, I guess, of this whole tournament, whenever it came to Misfits. We were like, look, if Shazam's there, then you've got a Misfits who can actually really compete to a decent level. That's when you start getting these guys who cause a couple of issues against your tier 1 teams. However, he's also had Amanek playing well off him. So both of those players were by A. They completely dismantled Envy several times. If he can keep that up going forward, we're going to have a game on our hands that I don't think many would predict being, you know, this kind of back and forth. We were expecting a close game.
Yeah.
And Cobble was certainly that, but this is a little whitewash almost.
For now.
Yeah, don't say that. Come on now. Come on. Misfits, you don't lose a 12-3 half.
We shall see as Sean Gares has himself the smoke double flash. XMS crosses to the opposite side of the monster. So player's going to start to line up, but as he's fully blind, he's going to come up empty-handed, and RPK as well. Great nades from Sean here to set the execution. DreamHack and Shazam just clearing out the bomb site. And this is the pistol in the pocket for Misfits. Now, when we saw that comeback happen on Cobblestone, it was a pistol to Misfits when they had 3. This is not going to be a saving grace for EnVyUs. This should be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, especially with 5 alive. Not losing out on players. Bomb plant as well. It's good money for Misfits. Exits would be lovely for Sixer. Trying as he may, out of bullets and options now, and even more money gets made, and you can see frustration there. This is not a game that Envy want to keep playing. This might be one where you're just like, all right, let's just get over and done with this. Just aim for map 3. Trains, you know, way better for us now. To build a comeback in this is almost unthinkable. Obviously, we saw something very similar almost happening for Misfits, of course, but yeah, if you're Envy, you're not a team who can get away with this stuff. And Sean getting some lovely cash building.
That one single scout's what EnVyUs is going to be trying to use in this one. Got their pistols around it, but already the little utility they had has been expended. I do like, of course, that Sixer's left alone towards A and that all those pistol arrows try to group up towards the short. Just trying to force the fight and be able to trade frag, but Sixer already forced back and down to 18 health, so nicely done by Misfits to curb any early success. Although he is still standing, and they have no connector control. Misfits just trying to leave Amanek to watch this. And I believe this is the play that we saw yesterday versus Heroic, where Misfits are just going to put 4 players up long A. They're going to leave Amanek to watch this connector flank and just try to circumvent any fight that could happen inside of bathrooms. They're not even going to clear it. They're going to walk right towards the bomb site where Sixer stands alone.
They need to get the timing right with Happy, though, the players in Underpass, if they want to try and pinch towards Party. They don't know that Amanek's there, but they want the favorable trade. Now they're going to send 1 player free from Underpass. They're already off. So 1 man's left. Good timing from Happy. He's going to understand what's happening now. Sixer should know this is going to be up on long. Has a little bit of information. Jumps up and over. They're going to have the players in the right place, but it's more about taking them down. Can they actually do the damage here? 36 seconds.
Scream going to find another headshot as Sick takes the TK, so it's a 5 versus 2, and it's the double AK still to play. 30 seconds on the clock. XMS swinging it back with a TK of his own, but RPK, DreamHack yet again. A very tight situation there towards the site, and yet Misfits walk away with it. It's really cool to see how EnVyUs play that out. Being aware of the fact that Amanek or somebody is probably watching the connector, they rotate their players back towards the B bomb site, allow for Happy to come up from T-spawn, and then actually start to box this in. So if Misfits were able to just clear that bomb site quickly, well then the entirety of it crumbles, no doubt about it. But those pistols up close, they keep them boxed in, and they really make them sweat. Misfits still able to find 14.
Scream trying to make impact here. Going to hear some of these steps coming in, so he's going to ready himself. Shazam on the corner. Flash comes in towards the tree, but not close, and still they win it out. Six really starting to play well too. I've got to say, enjoyed watching him play. He's got some real grit to his play style. Sixer though gonna land quite the flamboyant shot towards Shazam, and it is back down to this 4v4, and the tag towards Sick is gonna be frustrating.
Sixer not looking to fall back this time, but instead to get aggressive. He does have the support from Happy up close. But Misfits are patiently waiting for these sorts of plays, unless Sean Gares gives up his back. Ooh, timing is ever so finicky. He's been able to get himself down connector as well, so he gets over the second hurdle and finds himself to safety. But this is still EnVyUs on the backside.
I'm worried the Misfits are getting this much room, though, for Envy to get around the back. Happy could do some real damage here. They're kind of cornered in. This shouldn't happen. They should be able to fight their way out, but we saw how close it was last time. And look at the HP. Sean's down to 5, 6 on 31. And oh, they lose out on the bigger player. DreamHack was the one who was sitting pretty at this point. 6 still delivers, but Amanek goes. And now we're down to this 3v2. Not favorable to the T's, but they're fighting out as best they can. But it's just Sean 5 HP in a Dream, and well, that Dream gets crushed. Envy slowly work him down. The fist bump. He gets it in there. Try to play it out cool, but 14-4, it's still a long road back.
Unfortunately for EnVyUs, if they've been able to win that forced buy in the previous, then I'd still give this one a bit of thought. However, 14 rounds on the board for Misfits, a 10-round deficit. They're going to be playing off of that Catalyst AK here in the 19th round. Sick holds on to that. And I would second your opinion. He has actually been making some pretty cool plays here today. I think you said it best, like a pit bull, just constantly looking to fight.
Six is not feeling this though. He's going to back off. It does leave Scream very isolated, which gets a little... Oh, Scream? Where are the headshots? Where's anything? They attacked a player up. Well, now Six is just wondering who the hell am I playing with? Who's sitting in Scream's spot? That's just not him. Doesn't want to fall off it completely. Still has Happy beside him. They've got to make this move together if they make it at all. Happy going to flash through, allow for a bit of play. Sixer turns it, but it hasn't actually caught anyone on the other side. If anything, he's going to catch that flash pretty darn handily. But no one's seen him. How is he getting away with this? How is he still alive? Shazam will punish, and we've got a 5v2 happening here. What is going on with Envy?
Mr. RPK is finding some kills, and it was him down towards B last time round. XMS has arrived with a headshot of his own, so immediately dropped back into the equal 2v2. Bomb in the open. And Shazam is yet to cross on 8 points of health. It's going to be a tough job, but at least he's got that Molotov. And it's RPK to hit the headshot, follows suit with the final frag. The rest of EnVyUs might be missing shots, but RPK's on point. That look says it all.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Why am I having to kill 4 players when they only have deagles? Like, what's going on here? But yeah, no, RPK is just such a solid backbone to a team.
Yep.
You know, he can just hold it together in situations that are so tough and crisp sort of play. Gonna force Misfits down to pretty much a bit of a humble eco here. No armor, a couple of pistols upgraded. Could be a nice hit towards B, just plow on through, try and get the job done, try and overwhelm the site, play the bomb in from the back. If anything, XMS though could just go on a free farm mission. RPK's with him, so safe hands, at least in the form of RPK. Six still gonna find kills. How is this going on? Sean, though, not going to get any further. Costly again. Envy are playing a bit of a sloppy game here, but they're getting rounds on the board, so is what it is.
RPK now leading the charge with 17 frags. That was another multi-kill round for him in that one. Of course, just versus the pistols of Misfits, which have now been upgraded into guns. Those 4 AKs, the ump, and grenades to play with, but immediately Misfits, they're going to gear up towards this B bomb site, so if they divert themselves back towards connector, they're going to find it open. Scream just takes a bit of a gander and then retreats already, but fight of spam through the wood. XMS finds the bomb and the opening frag, but Shazam's able to trade that back immediately, so sectioned off is short, and it's RP Tank to peek out wide. Takes one, immediately removed. So finally, they're able to deal with him as a threat, but so much damage dealt. Misfits still able to assert themselves towards the site. Happy, again dealing damage, but Devin Duvik just time and time again takes the frags. It's Sean with the last, and Misfits to hit 15.
Finally, it felt like nothing was clicking for a little while. They're getting closer, 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 but then being chipped away from Envy. But now 15, finally on the board. Massive moment for them. They're now on the cusp of taking to that third map. Something they desperately want after that first map disaster that happened for them. You gotta be feeling in the back of your mind, this could have been a 2-0, but still, they're back on track here. And a good purchase on the other side. Envy's money's pretty much shredded. They still have a somewhat of a buy, but it's not what you want coming into, this round especially.
Whoa, levitation. Wingardium Leviosa, is I believe how it's pronounced.
It's Leviosa. I like Harry Potter, what can I do? But yeah, this is a slower approach. You can see Misfits kind of feeling the weight of the value of this round. There's no need to rush. There's not much utility on the CT side. If you can get that away from him, just get map control, slowly build through, you're fine. You just don't need to take risks. You can just play a nice, standard round out. Should be fine.
Misfits silent on their approach. He sees the shadow nonetheless. Did a buckshot to the shoulder of Shazam. Not going to topple him down. He's stronger than that. And now Misfits just gear up straight for the site. They know, of course, that they had been creeping in. Sixer up close with the scout. Going to deal some damage. Swaps to the 5-7 as well. And he's going to start to spam here as now the bombs cross to the back of Truck. Sixer's been removed. And it is the 5v2. It is game. There we go. Misfits fired up as they're able to close this map in convincing fashion.
There it is. We're back at 1-1. We kind of expected this to a smaller degree. A lot of people thought it was going to go to the third map, and it has. The fashion has been there, though. It's been a rocky road for Misfits. They've had to fight tooth and nail for this one, but map 2 was a brilliant showing. 1 from Shazam, 2 from Amnek, and 3rd, Sick for me. I've got to say, he really started to deliver some kills, but Envy just never felt like they got going. They came off that great map that they kind of eventually recovered in from Cobble, and then where were they at the start?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a just one-sided start is definitely a great look for Misfits. And it's cool to see them actually be able to convert that one out. Of course, over towards that CT side, EnVyUs, I think we're putting up a solid fight time and time again. I mean, every single round, despite Misfits arriving to the bomb site, their health bars were always so low. So at least that was there. You could see it, EnVyUs maybe trying to pry it back, but clearly not. At least not as much as Misfits could.
So, Train will be the final map between these two to ensure who goes forward and who's done pretty much at this point. Misfits showing that they are not done just yet. Shazam finally putting up a performance we've been looking for a while. And Envy just letting the foot off the gas in that second map. No idea what happened to them. Let's hope it doesn't happen in the third. Otherwise, this could be a very quick affair. So guys, do stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment's time.